Hey guys, it's me, Rebecca, and I am here today to talk about Poshmark listing descriptions. So what I thought would be really important, since I just filmed a video about titles, and if you haven't seen that one yet, just go back onto my YouTube channel and there's a video all about Poshmark titles. I think it's important to have a great title. That way your item is searchable, people can find it, and then ultimately buy it. But what do you put in the description? I mean, what is really the meat of the description that you need to put in there to make sure that A, people know what they're buying, B, you protect yourself from a case against you, like a return or anything like that, and C, just so you really establish kind of a almost a personal brand of what your descriptions are. Some people make them funny, some people post descriptions about what they could wear them with, or events they could wear them, or how to pair them with other items in their closet. So there's all sorts of things that you can do, but I think it's important to talk about the must-haves in any description. I will admit that as of late, I've been getting kind of sloppy and lazy with my descriptions. I have been trying to get everything listed really quickly, so I haven't been doing as much keyword searching and comparison searching as I would normally, simply because I'm just trying to get them up and listed, and I have other projects that I'm working on. But if this were going to be my numero uno again, money making, I would definitely make sure that I was adding some more of these things into my descriptions. So I think the first thing is go back, make sure all of your listing titles are in the right order, have the way people would search for them. Similarly, in your descriptions, if I'm looking down, I made myself some notes here, but there's a limited number of characters on the Poshmark descriptions. So sometimes I find that if I have copied and pasted them from eBay, maybe I wrote too much and it won't all fit on there. So you want to be mindful of how many characters and how long your description can be on Poshmark. The first thing, always want to make sure, obviously, the brand, the sex of the item, unless it's a dress, but typically I usually put the sex. If it's new or pre-owned, is it new with tags? Is it new without tags? Please only put new without tags if you literally have cut the tags off yourself and you know that it... Oh, sorry about that. This guy just died along my video. Okay, you can have him back when I'm done filming, okay? Okay, cool. So with the new without a tag and new without a box, just make sure that those are actually items that are new without tags. They don't just look new. They don't just feel like they've never been washed before. It's really important to describe things accurately to, like I said, protect yourself in the case of a return opening, and also making sure that people are buying what they think they're buying. The size, so you want to watch things like European sizes. So if Bowden, for instance, Bowden is a great example. The older Bowden tags only have UK sizes on them. So if you get a Bowden skirt and it's a size 12, but it looks really small, it's likely a size US 8. The newer Bowden labels have UK 12, US 8 in there. So make sure if you're buying something that is a UK brand, European brand, that you are learning the size differences. For instance, I just listed a few pair of Zara shoes, and I went onto their website to make sure that the European foot size is the same conversion size that Poshmark has on there, and it's actually not. So I went on, and then what I did is in the description, I wrote size, 30, whatever it is, whatever the number is, and then I wrote the US conversion size, and then I wrote in the description, sizing is per Zara.com's website, specifically from their website. So people know that if they have any questions about the Zara sizing, they can go to the Zara website and look at that. But I want people to make sure they are getting the right size. If you have an item that does not have a size, I usually estimate small, medium, large, extra large, and then I make sure I put the measurements in the listing. So, or you can put no size, you can just write C measurements in a custom size and then write the measurements in there. Or you could do medium large. You can do whatever you want in the sizing section, but make sure in the description you're writing in there that there's no size tag, and this is please review all of the measurements carefully prior to purchasing. On those items, I would even add more measurements than I normally would add. So you could add pictures of the measurements, you could take measurements in different places so people get an idea of how it might fit lengthwise, if it's a skirt or a dress, those kind of things. Just any kind of extra detail you can add if it's missing a size tag is really beneficial to the buyer and to your sales process. So also when you were posting about colors, the next thing I would always post is colors. However, people are saying, I have seen on social media, people are saying that there are return disputes over whether something is maroon or burgundy, and some people have stopped putting colors onto the descriptions. I say, do what you will. If it's teal, say if it's more blue teal or green teal. If it's like a coral, is it more orange or red? I try to describe things in those terms. So, I'll say it's an orange-red color leaning towards orange. I just get a little bit more descriptive with my colors. Now, if it's something that's new with tags and I look it up and it actually has a color associated with like cinnamon or indigo or something like that, I will actually put that in the listing, because if someone disputes that, you can say, look, this is the actual color from the manufacturer. And so it's hard to dispute that that's not the color when that is in fact the color from the website. So if it's a situation like that, I would always put what the color is that the manufacturer or the brand is saying it is. The other reason I would do that is that sometimes people are searching for that specific color or style. So this also goes back into the styles. If you are searching for what item it is, a lot of the shoes will have names. So if you look in the shoes, it'll be Cindy or Wendy or Beast Mode or whatever. Steve Madden usually has the names in them. Cole Haan usually has the number. It's like a D and then a number along with it. Coach shoes have names. So all of these kind of things, you can look up information about those items online while you're writing the description. It's just good to know whether maybe it doesn't say real leather, but it's real leather now that you've looked it up. So there's more information you can find from the brand, from the website on these items. I just want to caution you not to take too long to search for the items. Otherwise, it's going to take you a really long time. You got to find that fine line balance of practicing finding what it is and then getting these items listed. I know a lot of people have things that just end up sitting in their death piles or in baskets in their rooms because they don't want to take the time or don't want to deal with looking it up or steaming it, or it's just extra work. So you got to find that fine line. After all these years of doing this, I'm pretty quick at being able to find something using descriptive words, the brand, the style, whatever the case may be, but it's taken me a really long time to get here. So that's something that you're going to definitely have to develop over and practice as you start listing more and doing more reselling, especially with like clothes, shoes, purses, accessories, those kind of things. Because you really don't want to spend your entire day looking up the style or the name of one thing when you could have listed 20 things and been making money on those. So the style is something. Another thing that is something you gain over the years is keywords. I am pretty good at keywords like cocktail parties, work, career, those kind of things. But when it comes to anything that's like goth or rockabilly or any of those kind of things, I always have to end up looking up keywords for those because I'm not really in tune with that. I don't have a lot of practice with that. It's not a lot of stuff that I sell. So for me, even after all these years, I have to take the time to go back and look up some of these keywords. The measurements, like I said, if there's no tag on there, make sure that you are putting your measurements on there. Even if you have sizing on there, I would still put measurements. there's a debate about that, whether or not you should or you shouldn't put measurements. I have always put measurements. I have a very low return rate. I think that it helps you if people do file a return or a complaint on your item, especially on Poshmark, being able to say, hey, you know, the inseam was listed on the description. So the inseam did say it was a 30-inch hem. That's what it specifically said. You didn't look at it. You know, Poshmark has a no return policy, so it helps you win these cases when you can prove that you actually gave all this extra information on your item. The other thing I like to put is that I'm a non-smoking home. I do have dogs. Some people do put pet friendly. If you are a non-smoking, non-pet home, I would put that in your description just to be sure. You know, sometimes people have allergies. I have had people ask if I have dogs. I always put, you know, yes, I'm not going to lie about that. But typically, because they're not allowed in my eBay room and everything is separate, you know, I usually just put non-smoking home. And if someone asks me, I will tell them that I have pets. And the last thing that you want to make sure you include in your descriptions are any flaws. And I know we think sometimes, and I've done this before, you know, maybe they won't notice this, or you just kind of pass it along as that's got something on it or a little thread pull here or there, and you just hope they don't notice or they don't care. And then over the years, I just kind of realized that I wanted to make sure that I was describing the items as clearly and accurately as possible, which means putting any alterations, any stains, any blemishes, any holes, any pulls, you know, any missing buttons, any of that kind of stuff, any broken zippers, any of those types of things you want to make sure that you are putting in your description to really help the buyer know what they're getting. And I can't emphasize this enough, helping protect you against cases on Poshmark. Now, some of you will say, well, I do all that and I still lose cases on Poshmark. Yes, we've all lost cases on Poshmark. I have lost cases on Poshmark, but usually it's because of my error. I can't even actually tell you one case that I lost that wasn't my mistake. You know, I had one where I sent the wrong size. I've sent 2 of the different size shoes. You know, I sent a pair of pants that I did not know. I didn't realize that there was a hole in the crotch when I had folded them up. Just things like that I hadn't noticed or paid attention to. And those are obviously valid reasons for a return. I'm not going to dispute those. But the ones where people aren't reading the description or they're sending photos of things that might not actually be my item, that kind of stuff, I do make sure that I have all my documentation, my descriptions are really good, my title is good, my photos are good, and that way it has protected me in the past. Does it protect you 100%? No. But it's sure as heck a lot easier to say, hey, that was all in my description than to, you know, try to talk them into the fact that they should have seen it in that third picture in the back, on the back of their heel of the shoes, you know, the small scuff there. So I try to make sure I'm putting as much detail as possible. Like I said, you want to make sure you have the brand. I like to put men or women's, new or pre-owned, new without box, new without tags, indicating what type of item it is, the size, the color, the style, any keywords, measurements, smoking pets, and any flaws. So I know it seems like a lot, but I really have gotten good feedback about my descriptions. People like the fact that I'm including as much stuff as I can. I always take a photo of the fabric content, so that is usually in my photos. If it's not in my photos, I make sure I write what is the fabric content, especially if you have something that's suede or leather. There are a lot of people who are vegan or don't want to buy animal products, so I try to be cautious of that and make sure that if it is a vegan leather, I'm putting that it's not real, you know, it's faux leather in my description, and that way people feel okay buying it knowing that it is not real leather. So those are my tips for my description. If you put anything else in your descriptions, please comment below. I always love to learn what other people are doing, and you know, just seeing the different styles out there. If you have any ideas for more videos on Poshmark, obviously comment below. I try to read everyone's comments and respond to the best that I can. As always, I thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more Poshmark reselling chronic illness content. I'm really getting in the groove and the flow of these videos, so I feel like there's going to be a lot of content coming up in the second half of 2018. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.